Thank you, Joanne. And as I look around the room and listen to everyone, first of all, there's a good representation of both genders here. But it's not just about women, it's about integrated leaders, leaders who can balance both the feminine and the masculine leadership qualities that are required to actually move from insight to action to outcomes. And I'd like to start just to kind of, with the message from Apollo 13. Houston, we have a problem. Got the attention of the world, and more particularly the leaders, the engineers, and the policymakers of NASA. Disaster was averted, and breakthroughs were produced. So we as co-founders of Unlocking Eve, myself and KV Took, we see the possibility of an equally dramatic and life-saving opportunity right now for healthcare by unlocking women. Now, saying this is speaking to the converted, because everyone in this room probably feels the same. We talked about technical, the engineers, we talked about leaders, we talked about finance, we talked about policymakers. But until we are really in our hearts of hearts, this convinced that Houston, we have a problem, nothing seems to be moving. So Kay and I have been executives in the healthcare space for 25 years combined. We've lived and worked in 10 different countries, and we're very motivated during the pandemic to see that countries led by integrated leaders, many of them women, had 6 times less deaths due to COVID-19 than countries not led by these type of leaders early on in the pandemic, later on equalized. And so we're very motivated by 2 goals. One, which is how do we increase the number of women in decision-making roles in healthcare? As we know, women represent 75% of healthcare decision-making, 75% of the workforce. So we're working with the WHO on a very particular project. Vesna Petric, the chair, is actually very involved to talk about if we're going to move to implementation, because that's what we're really talking about, is implementation of these things. This is the hardest thing to implement. We're going to have to involve the constituents, which are women. 75% of them are going to have to be part of these implementation plans. So they need to be at the table in the decision-making roles. And the second goal is how do we unlock, once women and men, the people with their head and the heart in the right place are at the table, how do we ensure that they have the leadership skills, capabilities, and the how do they structure these things so that we actually get impact? So those are our 2 goals, and our aim is to unlock 100 million leaders by 2030 to advance the Sustainability Development Goals, SDG 3 and 5. And so what we're looking for is partners, right? Because we're here to bring those 2 goals and obviously our huge network of partners that we've collected over the 25 years we've been in healthcare. But we're looking for partners to and case studies. We're piloting in 8 countries this year. We're going to be in South Africa June 2nd and 3rd. We'll be in Asia at the end of the year, and we're working with GHD on a really important roundtable at the UNGA in the fall. So that's our goal and that's our aim, is to really put this from insight to action. We have a lot of research projects as well and pilot projects, which I've already taken many names, which I'll follow up with. But that's all I wanted to say about the importance of leadership in that space.